Very rarely we see Pep Guardiola's Manchester City in a 0-0 draw, but Arsenal frustrated them to the point where today was the case. They both kept a clean sheet, they both get a point, but neither lead the Premier League this season. And I just wonder now, when you look at that table, Gail, how do you see it? 9 to play with those three where they are at the moment?
Well, it's going to be very interesting. A bit disappointed with tonight, the performance of both teams, I would say, even if I think Arsenal came for the draw. But like we said before, we don't talk much about Liverpool, but that's a perfect result for them. Without playing too well, they managed to get the point. And I think, finishing the day on top, I think is a beautiful result. And there's still a long way to go, but City and Arsenal will have to kind of up their game, because obviously they need to catch up now.
It's very rarely I can ask you this type of question, but we're going to go live back to the Etihad and speak to Bernardo Silva. Bernardo, thanks very much indeed for joining us. No goals, 0-0. What did you make of it from a City point of view?
Hello everyone. Tough game because we played against the top side, very well organised side. We felt that we started strong, and then they got back into the game. They were very, as I said, very organised. 2 different phases. When we were building up, they were doing man-to-man, so it was always tough. And then when we could get 3 or 4 passes together, they would run back and deep, and their wingers would go almost in a line of 6, and it's never easy to create chances when they defend that well. So yeah, top side to play against, and a very tough game for both teams. Could have gone both ways, and I think it's a fair result for everyone.
Bernardo, Sean Wright-Phillips there. Well done on your performance today. At half-time, what did Pep say to you? Did he say to you, keep doing what you're doing, or did he have any tricks up his sleeve to unlock them?
Well, a little small details, but the team was playing okay. We weren't very dominant. We didn't create that many chances, but I think we were keeping well the possession. We were controlling well the rhythms of the game. And when you play against a top side like Arsenal, the way they defend, they're so competitive, the rhythm that they put in their actions is so high, it's never easy to create chances. And we knew that. They're a top defensive side. And we were trying to get into the pockets to create little spaces to then give chances to our strikers. I didn't think that we were very, very effective today, but still not a bad game. Of course, we're not happy because we played at home and we wanted to win, but we have to take the point. And now still a lot of games to happen, and of course we're not favourites anymore, but we're still in this title race, and we're going to try and do our job to win again this title, knowing that it's very difficult and tough because we play against top sides.
Bernardo, Gael Clichy here. Congratulations for your game, man. Quick question for you. We've seen during the game that you were often on the left, on the right, in the middle. We felt that you guys lack a bit of creativity, in the final third. And you are the kind of player that can bring that. But we saw you, the more the game was going, we saw you more trying to link between defense and midfield, to bring the ball up. Is it something that Pep asked you, or you felt that the team needed more control to advance within the field?
Well, I agree with you first, because we didn't create that many chances. So yeah, definitely we need to improve on that, because our strikers deserve to have more balls to score goals. And then yeah, in the beginning of the game, the strategy was to be on the right pocket, and then when Nathan Ake was injured and Rico played, I went on the right wing because Rico plays very well in between the lines. And then when Kovacic came off, I went to the left to play a little bit more as a help to Rodri and in the midfield. So different roles, but definitely the creative part of getting better at giving balls to our strikers and creating more chances and finding better the spaces. We should have done better today, I think.
Bernardo, was you expecting Arsenal to maybe be a little bit more expansive with the way they played rather than playing with such a low block? Did you expect more from them to attack you guys more?
To be honest, yes, because last season they played against us and they always played very aggressive and very man-to-man. And we won the 3 games. And this season, they've even when they played at the Emirates, they still played sometimes on a low block, very patient, and they got their results playing like that. So we were expecting them to play this way, to be honest, yeah.
Bernardo, thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Thank you.
No problem. Bernardo Silva live at the Etihad for you. Very interesting indeed. City have still not beaten a team in the top 5, which is still an amazing thing to say.
It's definitely an amazing thing to say, but they're still sitting third with, 3 points behind the top. So I think...
We're facing another one, aren't they, on Wednesday? Aston Villa.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's better to get them out of the way, right? At least we got Villa at home this time. If we was going to Villa Park, it would have been a whole different conversation because they are very, very strong there and they're a fantastic team.
And they're level with Arsenal in the games between the top 5 this season.
But I will... Sorry, guys. I would say that I'm not saying it's harder for City, but when you come out of a season where you just done the treble, it's you will know. Just for a game, if you score a brace or you saw a hat-trick, the next game will be always harder because you will relax as a player. We're talking about a team that's been consistent for the last 6-7 years and just coming out of a treble season. So they put the level so high that we expect so much from them. But really, a game like this, Arsenal is probably the best time over the last 10 years where they have a chance to go and do something. So, okay, you don't want to lose the game, but you expect more from them. You expect more. And obviously, if you have a team that is a little bit more risky, then you will have a team like Man City exploiting those spaces. So it was a very close game. And I would say that, to get the motivation out of the City players is not an easy task to do.
Yeah.
So Arsenal needed to get trophies. I'm a little bit disappointed with the way they played because they have the quality to hurt them. I truly believe they could have walked.
You're disappointed with the way Arsenal played at times?
Yes, you will expect more from them and you will expect them to go and actually play for the 3 points. It's better a point than nothing. But
I think he means more on the front foot.
Yeah.
Yes. Simply because it's a fair point. But at the same time, you have to understand where Arsenal is in the progression of what they're trying to do and what happened with them last year and how they got, how it's really stung them to go to a place like this and lose, not get anything. And I think that's what they're more afraid of than anything else. That's why you heard Bernardo Silva saying he was a little bit surprised that they were as deep as they were, but I wouldn't expect anything less. Like I say, if Martinelli was playing, you'd probably get more on the break, but I think that it's a little bit more of a game management situation for Arsenal in the end. I think to not lose the game, that's where I think they're progressing, and that's where I think that they have to understand that, okay, we're not going to try and go at City because you'll see City will play like that all day until they get the mistake. Arsenal didn't make it today, but then what Arsenal got to do in the next game is that they've got to make sure that they win those games. You have to win that game. You have to win the game where you're under pressure to beat that low block. And City have shown over down the years that they can do it. So Arsenal are going to have to learn to do that because that's what teams are going to do to Arsenal.
And just to put it into context in terms of progress for Arsenal, where they're going, it's the first time since 2015-16 that they've played twice in a season and haven't lost to Manchester City.
Well, the thing is that what people were saying a couple of years ago is that at some stage, if you are going to try and challenge, you're going to have to beat the top team, whether it's Liverpool or Man City. At some stage, you've got to beat them at least once and not lose to them. You know what I mean?
They haven't lost to either, have they?
No, they've not lost to either of them. And what you got to do, that's where you can gain confidence. Because remember, it's the other teams you have to beat to win the league. Beating them gives you momentum and confidence, but it's the other teams you have to beat to win the league.
And of course, they went to the Etihad today, 8 league wins in a row. They take a point against the treble winners and the champions. Let's get some Arsenal reaction. Here is William Saliba.
We know it's the best team in the world, Manchester City, so we have to be focused all the game. And we did well. We didn't concede, but we didn't score as well. But we are happy, and that's it.
And just tell us about that partnership with Gabriel. It's obviously one of the best in the league, but particularly today, defending Haaland. Is the plan one of you goes super tight in with him, and then the other guy has to cover around and help his teammate?
Yeah, I'm good because Gabriel is good. He helped me a lot. Not only him, it's all the team. When we lose the ball, everyone running back. So I think we all defend well, and that's good. That's a good point, and we have to keep going like this.
Yeah, we touched on that before the game, didn't we, Gail? And we talked about him and Gabriel. Thoughts on him and Gabriel against Haaland today?
I want to talk about the team because the way, like Shoni said, I think the way they defend is brilliant. You know, they're not the best defense in the league for nothing. They're not the best attack in the league for nothing. You know, the process is going. And I get the fact that they don't lose the game, but having positive and very commanding centre-backs always help a team. And those two are forming a very nice partnership. It's not easy to keep, Haaland safe. Yeah. Obviously, I'm always saying
twice in a season as well.
Yes,
them scoring.
Yes, but I think everything was perfect today. I'm I like to see teams play, and seeing Arsenal with the wingers coming very deep. When I say disappointed, you have to understand. I'm not disappointed because of, they didn't play well. I think they played really well with the game plan they had. You always think that with the quality they have, they could try and go and do something. Yeah. I feel they really had this. I think it's the only team that can really challenge City, and that's the only reason I'm saying I'm disappointed. But the game, the performance, and the plan to come and don't lose the game.
I understand that, Gal. I think that the problem that Arsenal have is because they were beaten last season by, maybe trying to do stuff that people will say, trying to play a system where people say, they're going for it, where it's a lack of experience. I would love to have seen Saka pushing further forward. I'd love to have seen that. I'd love to have seen Jesus pushing further forward. But I think that they were more worried about actually conceding and not managing the game for me.
But does that come from them players on the pitch, or is that an Arteta thing? Because as a manager, you can't go into a game letting your players feel that you have to worry about your wingers saying you got to be like wing backs at points, because that would never happen.
Yeah, but
as a winger, it shouldn't happen.
Yeah, but when you look how deep they were, I cannot believe myself that a winger himself, when you look at both of them there, would say, let's go here. It's something that the manager probably would have said.
So no, like I've been in the situation before, should I say many a times, back when I was at City. And if you do not get any information from the manager, you naturally go, because you can't pass them on, because Gal or the holding midfielders already have somebody. So you just go just in case, rather than go in just because you was told to go. Because it's just more of a protection, a backup thing.
Right.
But it just felt like sometimes they were in a position where they were like beside the fullbacks, and the fullbacks were beside the centre backs. And do you need to be there, like Gal said? Didn't feel like they needed to be that deep.
Maybe, but like I say, I probably look at it and feel like it's more of a case of not losing this game and getting to that stage and think, let's hold what we've got here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you don't lose against the top team and you win against the rest. But I do feel that for the progression of Arsenal, if you look at all the games during the season, they've been so good, so consistent. They're pushing and they're staying one-on-one at the back with the defenders. They put body in and they pressurize the opponent. And it's great to see. When you see them play against Porto, you see a little bit of tonight, which is normal. You don't want to lose. But I'm thinking if you want to improve as a group, maybe you have to go and try to be a little bit more courageous in a way.
Where, how long is it since Manchester City have not conceded a goal there? It's like ages now, what you just mentioned.
The first team in 76
games. And, your Arsenal going there, in the space of 2 years, and you can see the captain there is talking about how disappointed they are that they didn't have a goal, didn't have more of a goal. So at some stage, they're going to obviously have to find the confidence to say, no, let's go and have a go at them, because this is Man City. Arsenal are on the way, but at the same time, as much as it's disappointing, you could tell that the dressing room are very disappointed that they didn't do more, because they can feel it. They can feel it's close, and it's up to them to go and get it. But at the same time, you have to manage those games. A point against Manchester City is a fantastic point.
Having already beaten them.
Absolutely.
But it's a great feeling to feel that the players themselves knows that, because this is the way it is. They're playing so well that we are disappointed. They could have done better. And talking with them, knowing that also, even if they got the point, and it's a very good point, they feel that maybe they could have done a little bit better. And it's good, because this is the way to progress. And this is what we are saying, with a little bit more audacity, maybe they could have got something. Because I do feel, today, if they go and they're a little bit more, not courageous, but they really want it a bit more, they can get the 3 points,
Maybe.
They had the situation.
I have to agree with Gal. And I think for them to make that next step, they almost have to impose their self on people. I think City only have that much control over the games that they're in, because when they were in that same position Arsenal were in, they went for the jugular. So people are now on the back foot. So now they walk into games and people think, well, we know we're not going to have a lot of the ball. We're going to have to do this and that. Whereas I think if Arsenal just come out and just said, this is what we're going to do, every time we get a chance, we're going to go for the jugular. We're still going to defend tight, but when we get the chance, we have to show them, if you mess up, we're kind of coming for you, rather than be on the edge. And like Martin said, he said, we've all been there. If you don't keep the ball after running that long and you give it back to them after the third pass, the next time you do win the ball and the manager's shouting to you, go on, get down the line,
there's no, your energy, your sharpness is gone. All you're thinking about is, okay, let me just make sure the first pass is right so we don't leave it. And it kind of has a knock-on effect.
I think you look back at it and you know, they're in the fight. You know what I mean? Last season, like we said, it fell away. And I think that if it goes down to it and, you know, Arsenal win it by 1 point, you have to look at this
game.
Because, yes, I want us to play, but I'd love us to have beaten them, Arsenal to have beaten them today just so as you can just, you know, get the confidence and get the points in between. But at the same time, you still have to look at this game and think it's a very good point. It's a very good point from where Arsenal, and it's very important that the Arsenal fan base do not get ahead of themselves because, you know, we didn't win at City, which a lot of people don't do, you know. No. I'd like us to play better, obviously, but I just think that it's a vital point that we picked up today.
One concern today, Saka limping off?
Yeah, absolutely, especially going into the latter stages of the season, simply because of how important he is in respects of his goals and his assists. And, you know, it's very difficult for him because teams are doubling up on him. You know what I mean? He's playing a lot of football, you know, and, you know, to see him coming off, you're hoping it's not too bad.
Absolutely. It was their 14th meeting and it ended all square. We'll get their views in a moment. A nice handshake at the end of the game, just as we had in here.
Well played.
Hey, nice one, man. Nice one. Well done.
They started off a little feisty, but it ends all right paternally.
Well, of course. Yeah. Dad and son love, innit? Like, it's never going to go anywhere, but just for 90 minutes, I just don't like him for a while. That's
yeah, you guys didn't talk much during the 90 minutes.
No.
You know, something that's, you know, in this season, it's so exciting at the moment. I know we didn't get the game maybe we wanted in from an excitement point of view, but like the jeopardy that was on that game, I think we learned a lot about Arsenal today. And, you know, City know what they're doing. It's in respect of trying to break a team down, you're going to be frustrated. But learning, and from Arsenal's point of view, learning and progressing like they are to challenge City, 4 points off of City now, was it 4 points off of Liverpool? You know, this is what it's about. This is what it's about now. Obviously, the next game is important now. Is it Brighton? You know, that game, Arsenal probably have to win that game. So, you know, it goes again. So it's just the building blocks. And it's good. It's exciting. It's exciting for the fans. It's exciting.
In a way, Gail and I were quite glad it was a draw for you. We were looking forward to the loser. So you guys can go home.
I know.
There is no loser. It has been 0-0. Let's get the managerial thoughts. Here is the City boss, Pep Guardiola.
Pep, how would you analyse that?
We take the point. So we tried. We didn't create much. They didn't create much. The defense so compact, and we cannot regain the balls high pressing because it's long balls, second balls, and they are really good with Havertz and all the physicality they have. When Rico came in, were there in that side, and yeah, they had one or two chances in transitions, and especially when we lose one or two balls. But yeah, it was tight game. We were who we are. Maybe we miss a little bit at the final third, but it's not easy. So the strikers go with Rodri, so they are so compact. They defend physicality. The crosses, they are really good. Physicality they have. So yeah, we take the point.
Was it the type of game you expected?
Yeah. The last game in Emirates is quite similar, and yeah, quite similar. Yeah, we try to create a little bit more, but it's not easy. So good players defending the way they play. So they make a good high pressing. They are fantastic what they do. But when we break this first step, and we break them in contact with the wingers or with the fullbacks. They, you know, Havertz and Odegaard go close to Jorginho and Rice, and the spaces are minor. They go outside and they are compact, and yeah, that's why they were top of the league. Now it's Liverpool, but they were all the last season playing really well.
I listened to an interview with Rodri in the week where he talked about Arsenal being a bit more direct, a bit more vertical, I think it was his word, this season. Did we see that today?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, but it works. For them it works. They are, you know, in the Champions League, and the league was all the time there. They are able to play. they are able to play because we can say the build cannot do it, especially with the keeper, have ability to do it. All the people in the middle have incredible quality, but when they decide to play more direct, they are really good too. And it's part of the game. So,
do they give you a mixture of problems as well? Sometimes pressing you high, going man to man, and then others dropping deep. Bernardo's been in and done an interview. He was talking about that. They give you almost two sets of problems. Sometimes pressing high, sometimes dropping into a low block.
Who?
Bernardo said that about the challenges of playing against Arsenal. Sometimes deep, sometimes high up.
No. Always play high. They play high. But when you break, they low block. But, when you arrive in the final third, the main target is not concede a goal. And as much play as you are there, more difficult for the opponent. And they did brilliantly.
How big a blow was it losing Nathan Ake early in the match, especially with John Stones, Kyle Walker already missed? I mean, you did that game with basically an entire, or nearly an entire back four, and your keeper missing.
Yeah, it is. That is what it is. So I played 2 games in these weeks in the national team with Holland, and sometimes can happen.
Is that actually the worry, the biggest worry coming out of today? The players you don't have for the challenges ahead?
That's what it is. So. At the moment, John will be better soon, I think so. At the end, it's less than we expect, and Kyle will be longer. Now, Nathan will be longer. So, what happened with Kyle, especially with John, I said, okay, I know what's going to happen this month, and adapt, and Rico play exceptional well, and we have another guys, and we will do it. So, with the guys we have, we will do it. Okay.
In terms of the Premier League, like the big fight now, Liverpool favourites?
It's the first. It's the top of the league, so that's why it is. But still 9 games, and yeah, we'll see. So Wednesday another one, and we'll see what happens.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Cheers.
9 games left to play for all of the top 3. Here's the view of the Arsenal manager, Mikel Arteta.
Well, Mikel, I was just trying to read your expression as you went over to the Arsenal fans to clap them at the end. Happy, unhappy, somewhere in the middle?
You don't win, you're never happy. But I think we have made a big step. We had the experience what happened here last season, and we have come across in a very different way. We have played a lot of parts of the game in an exceptional way, and other parts of the game that we can still have the feeling that we can do much better, especially with the ball in that first phase of the build-up when we didn't have enough composure and patience to play more. Because after we created some big situations to have the chance to win the game.
What parts were exceptional?
Well, the commitment of the players, the discipline that they have in all the defensive parts. When we're really high on the pitch and trying to win the ball, we won the ball a lot. And then when they break that press, the way you have to track back and they stay deep and they start to move their structure, you have to be really patient there and not rush, and you have to defend the box really well. I think it's 2021, the last time that they haven't scored.
57 games.
So that's 3 years. So that's the difficulty of it.
Yeah, I mean, and we've been talking about it a bit off camera. Potentially Arsenal in previous years might have been talked about a bit about maybe not being streetwise, tough, organised, all those things today.
Absolutely, and you have to have those performances, especially without the ball, to get something out of the game here. And with the ball, as I said, we lack certain composure, especially when the moment that we had.
Tell us a little bit about the game plan, because Bernardo's just been in and talking about how hard it was to play in, and suggesting you press high, go man to man when you can. And then if they get through that initial press, then you drop back into a back 6.
Yeah, it's very difficult because they have so many different structures. They start to move players inside on the base from different ways. They can do it with Bernardo from the winger. They can do it with attacking midfield, the centre backs stepping in the base, fullback stepping in the base. And this disrupts your organization because you have to maintain certain principles to still have the chance to put them under pressure. And when you don't, then you are low. When you are low, you have to be very disciplined because they can open you up in any moment.
I mean, did we see quite a tactical cagey game, a bit like we saw at the Emirates? Is it partly because yourself and Pep know each other so well?
It is. It has to be because you have to adapt a lot of time, especially when you don't have the ball to their structure. When you have it, they have to adapt to certain things that we do as well. And it is like that with every manager. The problem here is that you're facing the best manager in the world, so it's much more difficult.
And do we see that during the game when he made a double change, didn't he? But I think he brought Grealish and Doku on. So tell us what you're thinking there. You see him make that double change because you then made one yourself.
Yeah, because we had.
You thought, I know what he's up to.
We had the feeling that what they wanted to exploit, and obviously we had to prevent that.
I think you said in your first answer this was a big stride. So why was it a big stride?
Well, it's a big stride as a team, because to come to these big places, and not a lot of teams they have done what we've done today, and especially when there is a lot at stake, and the pressure elevates, and you have to respond, and it's another step.
Okay, so and in terms of the big fight for the title, where does this leave it?
Yeah, nothing changes. We wanted to win. Unfortunately, we know the report results, but we have to carry on. Still a lot to play for.
Okay. Thanks, Mikel.
Thank you. Thank you.
All the best. Cheers.
Yeah, that was really interesting from Mikel Arteta, righty, because Arsenal, of course, dominate most games. So today, 28% possession in that low block he's talking about. It's a different psychological skill set for his players.
It is, and it's tough. And if you've played in a game where you are predominantly chasing the ball and trying to make sure that you block off avenues and closing down and stopping the ball going in certain places, it can be very, very tiring. So to do it for that length of time against a team of that calibre is tough. And this is why you heard Bernardo Silva giving Arsenal so much credit for how they defended. And same with Gareth Barry, because they know how difficult that can be. Now, again, what you'd like to see is Arsenal being able to then soak that pressure up, because we've seen City being beaten. You can go direct to Kai or you can pass it through. But I don't think we could do that without Martinelli. But at the same time, the main thing is to not get beaten in that game. You can't lose that game simply because of what happened. You have to show that you've learned from what happened last season. So that is why, you see Mikel smiling there. They'll take that. They'll take that all day, because to get 4 points off City in a season is fantastic for Arsenal, where they're going.
And 2 clean sheets as well. I've just been told it's their lowest possession in a game for 2.5 years. That's how unlike Arsenal it is. So particularly from a defender's point of view, how much of a mental test is that when you're used to having all the ball in the possession?
It changes everything, and you're not the same team. So if the game plan was to come and not lose the game, then it's job done, and it's great. And you can understand that, because I've felt that when I was playing against Barcelona. You want to have the ball, but you know they are better than you. So you accept the fact that... But for me, in my head, with the quality of Arsenal and the way they've been playing, not only this year, but even the year before, you want them to get to that, to really challenge City in that sense, because this is their philosophy also. So you will expect, like Shoni said at the beginning, you will expect them to leave the ball to City most of the time. But 28% is a very low number. And what we were saying with the boys... It's normal. The point is done. If that was the job to be done, it's done. Great. But you have players like Martin and you have like Saka. You know their quality on the ball. And if you tell them, we enter the game because we don't want to concede, you will find moment where the pass is on, but the mind is not switched on. So you don't find the pass. And on 2 or 3 occasions, this is what happened. He has a chance to play the striker, and the ball is too slow, or he doesn't see it.
Yeah.
And this is, that's what Shoni said. This has an effect from the moment you start to the finishing line. You don't find those passes, and maybe if you enter the game saying, okay, we're not going to go crazy, but we're going to play our chances. We're going to go for it. Maybe that pass arrived, and maybe you have a chance one-on-one. That's my point, because if we're talking about a team, Arsenal, who is not performing and who is there just for, by luck, then I would tell you it's great. But with the performances they've been doing since last year, you will want a little bit better. Yeah. But it's great. I mean, they're still on top and they're still in the title race. So it's a great point. But so well they've been doing is the reason why we are a little bit sad of the performances offensively.
Okay. 50 days to go, 9 games to go. We're going to look at these fixtures again. We're fascinated by the twists and turns ahead. Yeah. Does the experience of City still give you a positive feeling?
Yeah, I do. I think it's the games where you see Liverpool's away games, I think they're really tricky. And I think the same with Arsenal. I think City had a batch of games where I think there was like 15 to 18 games on the table and they had to play Liverpool in there. They had that toughest spell there, and they seem to have come through that spell kind of all right without losing too many, but winning the right amount and drawing to keep him in touch. So I think now after the Villa game, this is where you would expect him to kind of like kick on a little bit. And so it'll be interesting to see how the other two teams handle it.
I think obviously Luton at home, all the home games, you look at those, Villa, Chelsea, Bournemouth, and then Everton, all of those games have to be won. I still feel that points are going to be dropped either side, but the main thing is to win the home games, because I think that, you know, you look at the run-in and you can't... I'm not saying the City's is any easier than Arsenal's and Arsenal any easier than Liverpool, simply because at this stage of the season, going for the league, it's going to be tough. Yeah. It's going to be just as tough as it was there, maybe in a different way. You know, Arsenal might have all that possession and not be able to create something, so it's going to be tough, and it's very exciting now. It's great to be in the fight.
It is. And just finally, for Liverpool today to get over the line and then see the perfect draw, are they the little psychological lifts you take as a player at this stage?
Yes, even if we say that this wasn't a decider, if you're a player and you are in that dressing room, you are all over the moon. I mean, it's just a perfect result, you know. We've lived that, you know, when you start the game and you hope for a draw, and then the draw arrives, and then you get the win after or just before. You go home and you feel, yeah, that's a step. We've done it. And this is what City will feel today, because they know they could have done better. If the point up for Arsenal was the objective, perfect day.
Enjoyed your company. And now you can have that friendly cup of tea. We started the day with 1 point separating the top three. We finish it with 3 points. And it might just be Liverpool's day. They're top of the pile. See you soon.